Have you ever felt like your writing just isn't hitting as hard as it should? Well, today we're going to unlock a really simple tool that can totally change that. We're talking about sentence voice. I'm going to show you how getting a handle on this one little thing can give your words some serious precision and power.
So, let me ask you, does your writing actually command attention? I mean, really land with the impact you want? Because believe it or not, the way you structure your sentences, the voice you pick, has a huge effect on how your message gets received. It can be the difference between your words being compelling and crystal clear or kind of weak and confusing. And here's the absolute key. A lot of us were taught to think of active versus passive voice like some strict grammar rule. You know, one's good, the other's bad. Let's just throw that idea out the window. Instead, think of it as a tool. It's like a switch you can flip to deliberately control where your reader puts their focus.
So what are these two voices really? Let's pull back the curtain and get a really clear look at what we're actually talking about here. It's time to unmask them.
Okay, first up, we've got the active voice. This is your go-to for powerful, direct writing. The formula is super simple. The subject, the hero of your sentence, is the one actually doing the action. It's got energy, it's straightforward, and it just gets right to the point. Now, on the flip side, we have the passive voice. In this case, the subject isn't the doer anymore, it's the one receiving the action. See how the spotlight just shifted? It moves away from who did the thing and shines right onto the action itself, or whatever it was that got acted on. And this slide lays it out perfectly. Look at the left. In active voice, the chef prepared the meal. Bam, the chef is the star. Now look at the right. The meal was prepared by the chef. All of a sudden, the meal is the main character. It's your choice. Do you want to highlight the team or the event, the game? You're the one in control. Okay, so now we know what they are. Let's get into the how. I'm going to show you a super simple trick to transform any active sentence into a passive one. I like to call it the quick flip. So you might be wondering, how can you actually make this switch without getting all tangled up in complicated grammar rules? Well, I promise it's way easier than you think. It's really just a matter of following a few simple steps. It all breaks down into just 4 moves. First, you've got to find your main players, the subject, the verb, and the object. Next, you literally just move the object to the front of the line, making it the new subject. Then, you just tweak the verb a little bit. And finally, you bring the original subject back in at the very end. Let's walk through one.
Okay, we'll use this nice, clean, active sentence as our test dummy. The scientist conducted the experiment. It's a perfectly good sentence. Now, let's work our magic and transform it.
All right, step 1, let's identify the parts. Our subject, the doer, is the scientist. The action, or our verb, is conducted. And what received that action? The object, which is the experiment. Simple enough, right?
Now for the flip. We take our object, the experiment, and slide it right to the front. Then we just adjust that verb. Conducted becomes was conducted. See that? Now our new sentence starts with, the experiment was conducted.
And to finish it off, we just add our original subject, the scientist, back in at the end, using the little word by, and boom! The experiment was conducted by the scientist. We've just successfully flipped the sentence from active to passive. It's that easy.
So now you know how to flip the switch. But honestly, that's only half the game. The real skill, what separates a good writer from a great one, is knowing when, and more importantly, why, to use each voice.
And this is probably the most important thing to remember. Get rid of the idea that passive voice is just plain wrong. It is not. It's a tool. Both voices are incredibly valuable. The master writer knows exactly which one to pull out of the toolbox for the right effect at just the right moment.
This slide really breaks down the strategy. So check out the left column. You're going to use the active voice for clarity, for energy, for when you want responsibility to be clear. That's your default setting for most writing. But then look over to the right. The passive voice becomes your secret weapon when you need to emphasize the object, like in a lab report, or when you don't know who the doer is, or maybe you don't care, or, and this is a classic, when you want to create a little distance. Think of that famous political non-apology. Mistakes were made. That is pure passive voice at work.
So let's bring this all together. When you understand this stuff, you're not just stringing words together anymore. You are consciously and intentionally crafting every single message for its maximum possible impact.
You know, Mark Twain said it perfectly. These little choices we make as writers, they actually have a huge impact.
Choosing the right voice for your sentence is exactly that kind of choice. It really is the difference between a faint little glow and a powerful strike of lightning.
And that's what you've got now. You have the understanding, you have the technique to control the focus, the tone, and the impact of every single sentence you write. You are now in control of the lightning.
You officially hold the keys to a much more powerful and precise way of communicating. So the only question left is the one right there on your screen. Now that you have this control, what message are you going to master first?